Mike Claus, we're rolling.
2 more seconds. Yep, we are live.
All right, let's call this meeting to order, August 6th. Anybody have any special intentions?
Yes.
Was that Councilman Wilmot?
Yes, Mr. President. Last meeting we actually mentioned Frankie Howard in prayer. I'm saddened to say he did pass from COVID complications. He was a longtime sheriff of Vernon Parish and a 3-term state representative. I ask that you keep his family in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Deacon Rapier, would you lead us in the invocation?
Let us pray. God of love and mercy, thank you for giving us another day. Cases of coronavirus spike in our state, and in many places, crowds continue to gather. We turn to you once again to listen to our plea. Bless us with your love, for more love is needed now. It is not the severity of strict justice that engenders love. It is the respect for one another and the honoring of those who give their lives in service to our community. Bring us together in these difficult times. Bless our city council with wisdom and goodwill that far-reaching solutions might be found to address these times. Bless us all this day and every day. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Councilman Wilmot, would you lead us in the pledge?
Please place your hands over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Do I have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? No. The consent agenda, items 1 through 3, there are no matters listed. Item 4 is correspondence reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. We started looking at a few things just today, actually, on getting out there and doing a citywide cleanup. We've been looking at it for a while, but we started actually enacting it today. They started working on the entry sign on Veterans Boulevard in District 2, right by Home Depot / Walmart area. When you're coming in, removing some old palm trees. We have been very shorthanded. Obviously, COVID-19 played a part on that and some other things, but we've continued to provide services. I just think we need to do it a little bit quicker and a little bit more scheduled out. And I think it will take a few weeks. It might take a few months. We could be still talking about this at Christmas time, but we will absolutely start on major thoroughfares and medians doing some cleanup. You will see that we will leave some, as they're doing the cleanup, because we talked with Parkways and General Services and Public Works today, as they doing the cleanup, you will see that they will leave some stuff behind, because as they're leaving those things behind, that means that we will send somebody to come back and pick it up. I don't need them to waste the time picking it up right away, but it will also show our constituents where we're working and how it's turning around. Be careful, because we will be taking over some of the right-of-ways, the streets, trying to block some things off to get these things done. It's a lot of tree trimming. It's a lot of weeding. It's a lot of work on the medians that we need to get done. So be careful, drive slow around this. Bear with us. It will start on Monday. We do not have full crews. We still don't have full crews. We're hoping to get some more people back, but it'll take some time. You sometimes have 13 people in one department that can work, but 6 work one week and 7 work the other week to keep them from being exposed to each other. So as we're doing these things, I just ask you to be patient. I think it's something that's important. It will start on Monday again. They'll do a few things tomorrow, but start on Monday again in that District 2 area. They will jump around, but they will come to each district and clean up the medians, the right-of-ways, and get things looking like they should be. I've spoken with most of the council members on this to give them a heads up, that the district council people, to give them a heads up what we're doing. I think it's very important. I'll be working very closely with those departments, with Chad Pitfield again, because this is COVID related. I'll be speaking with him tomorrow to go over some of this. It is important that we get this done. One thing that I can tell you is getting done probably still as we speak. If you've seen some of the grass issues at the Esplanade Mall, look, we're not blind. We see it, but there's a process we have to go through. And I thank Councilman Brannigan for working with us with this and being patient. Because I know, George, you probably get the most calls on it like I do. I'm sure every council person gets a call, but George and I have to deal with it directly. We see it. When you see a vine growing up on a street sign that belongs to us, and it'll probably cover the street sign very soon, it's time for them to do something. We got back on them today, and I tell you what, I got to give credit to them. They have the grass cutters out there. So, George, I told you that early, and I think I told most of the council that earlier. It's important to get those things done. I want the residents to know it doesn't go unseen by us. We do see it, but it's a process we have to go through, and the property owners and Esplanade Mall has stepped up, and they're getting it done. And I'm not here just to pick on the mall, because it's other places too. If you see it out there, you feel free to call us, but we know about it. But we have to go through the right steps, the legal steps to get it done, and we are getting it done. And I know Councilman Secure, Deborah Foshi, my CEO, is working directly with you with a few areas in your district. You know, for anybody in District 2 and any district, your councilman is working with this administration. We are getting it done. It just has to go through the process. That's all I have, Council Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank
man.
y'all.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Item 5 through 7, there are no matters listed. Item 8 is re-subdivision ordinances for final passage. Item 8A, summary ordinance number 12,730, an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots 1 through 16 and 23 through 27, square 34, and lots 24 through 40, square 35, Crestview Office and Industrial Park, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, into lots 1A, 5A, 7A, 10A, 13A, 16A, 23A, and 25A, square 34, and lots 24A, 27A, 30A, 33A, 36A, and 40A, square 35, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, in accordance with a survey by KLS Group Incorporated dated April 21st, 2020, case number P-5-20.
Motion by Council Member McKinney, second by Councilman Wilmot to approve the consent agenda. Council members, we're going to vote again by roll call. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan. Councilman Brannigan,
Gotta unmute, George.
your mic,
Yay.
thank you. Councilman Brennan,
Yay.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Mr. Chairman, your motion passes 7-0. Item, under the public appearance agenda, item 9 is public hearings for final passage. Item 9A, a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,731, an ordinance approving a conditional use for an oil change facility on lot 26A1, square 177, Briarwood Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which property is zoned C2 in accordance with site and landscape plans dated April 28th, 2020, and an elevation plan dated March 30th, 2020, all by Beacon Civil Engineering, and signed plans by Signs Unlimited Incorporated dated April 30th, 2020, case number P-6-20.
We already have a presentation on the screen from
Yes,
our
sir.
direct-
Councilman Hayes, you gotta open the public hearing with a motion.
To open
The
your
mo-
public hearing.
motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman McKinney to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote again.
Yes, sir. Your vote will start with Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yay.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
All
Motion
right.
passes 7-0.
Director Dufour, Planning and Zoning.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I do have a presentation. I didn't mean to jump the gun on that. I was, want to make sure everybody can see it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me know if you don't see the presentation on the screen. The applicant in this case is Jupit Properties LLC, 5417 Toby Lane, 31st Street, Kenner, Louisiana, 70065. The applicant is Beacon Civil Engineering at 8345 Gun Highway, Tampa, Florida, 32626. The petition property sits at the southeast corner of Square 177 and fronts Williams Boulevard on the east and 34th Street on the south, and is further bounded by 35th Street to the north and Florida Avenue to the west. The site was developed as a Rally's drive-through restaurant. However, it was recently demolished, so the site is undeveloped. The property, lot 26A1, is zoned C2 general commercial. Oil change services falls under automobile repair minor, which is a conditional use in the C2 district. All of the surrounding properties to the subject site are zoned C2 or special ordinance, and all of the development is consistent with the zoning and the use of Williams Boulevard as a major commercial corridor. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 1,430 square foot Take 5 oil change. The new building will be oriented in a north-south direction and designed as a drive-through structure. Cars will enter the building from the west side, get service inside of the building, and then exit to the east side via a dedicated exit onto Williams. On the west side of the building, 6 concrete bollards will be spaced to create 3 drive-through access lanes into the building. There are 2 separate ingress and egress points proposed to access the site, one located on the southwest corner along 34th Street and the other on the northeast corner along Williams. Both meet the code requirements for entrance drives. There's also one dedicated egress point along Williams toward the southeast corner. This will allow service cars to safely exit from one of the 3 service bays. The main features of the building include 3 10x11 drive-through service bays located on both the east and west side. These 6 bays will each have a garage door type covering and will open and close when needed. The building and overall site design does meet all of the area regulations of the C2 district. Proposed landscape includes 4 Class A trees and 15 Class B trees, 89 shrubs, with the remaining areas to be sodded with St. Augustine grass. The landscape plan has been determined city's minimum requirements by the landscape plan reviewer. Finally, all of the proposed signage meets the minimum requirements of the sign ordinance for both attached and detached signage on the site. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this development. Thank you, Council President. That concludes the Planning Department's.
Thank you, Chair. Adam Campo, is there anybody in the audience wanting to address us on this matter?
I see no hands raised, Councilman.
Okay. Motion by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilmember McKinney to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
We start with Councilman Hayes,
Yay?
Councilman Brannigan,
Yay.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0.
Again, motion by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilmember McKinney to approve. Council people, let's vote.
Councilman Brannigan,
Wait, there's a hand up. There's a Councilman Segura.
I just wanted to briefly speak on this to say that I've met with the property owners and reviewed their plans for some time now. And this will be a welcome addition to the business community here in District 2, as well as the city of Kenner. This facility will appears, from its drawings and its layout, that it will be very fitted and blend in with the other businesses in and around Williams Boulevard. So with the amount of traffic that we have in that area, certainly all changes a popular business. So I wish them well and encourage all my colleagues to approve this.
Thank you. Again, let's roll call vote. Council members?
Yes, sir. Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes. Yay.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding a resolution authorizing the public hearing to be held on August 6, 2020 during a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of the City of Kenner to allow the citizens of Kenner the opportunity to comment on the Kenner Police Department's application to the United States Department of Justice Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, fiscal year 2020, local solicitation of $12,003 for the police officer overtime and law enforcement activities and criminal investigation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chief Glazer, do you have any comments?
Pardon me, sir, we need to open your public hearing.
All right, motion by Councilman Brennan, seconded by Councilman Brannigan to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
I'm so sorry, sir, I missed my place. Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKenney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right, Chief.
Yes, this is an annual grant that we apply for and have been awarded for many, many years to supplement overtime for investigating criminal investigations. It's pretty much, we use it for follow-up in crime hotspots that pop up throughout the length of the grant. This grant will begin in October of this year and last through September, I believe, of 2022. The only thing that is consistent with this grant through the years is it's getting smaller every year. As you can see, $12,000 won't go far, but it is a help. With other larger grants, I'm, unfortunately here to say that I can't accept a lot of them because there's matching funds that are involved with it that, the budget now just can't support. But I hope you support this. And if there's any questions either one of y'all have, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Campo, anybody wanting to address us on this?
I see no hands, Councilman.
Thank you. Again, motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilman Brannigan to close the public hearing. Council members, let's vote.
Councilman Brennan, Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right. Motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilman Brannigan to approve.
Councilwoman McKenney would like to speak.
I'm sorry.
Councilwoman McKenney would like to speak.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't see the hand.
That's okay. Thank you, Council President. I just want to applaud the Chief of Police for finding these and pursuing these opportunities, because I think it's important in making up any budget shortfalls. So just thank you very much, Chief.
Council people, let's vote by roll call.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. 13 is motions and resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution making application to state bond for consent and authority to issue, sell, and deliver sales tax refund bonds in a total aggregate principal amount not to exceed $35 million, setting forth a security therefore, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
All right, I think we have a couple of comments from the Finance Department. Mr. Wetzel?
I need to get a motion on the floor first, please.
It seems like we should have his comments before we vote. Motion by Councilman Hayes, seconded by Councilman Segura to approve.
Now, Mr. Wetzel?
Thanks. So basically what this is a application to refinance the 2030 plan loan that we have currently. The rate sits at about 4.45, and we are anticipating a below 3 interest rate on this loan, saving the city about $800,000.
Thank you. Council members?
Question.
Wait, there's a hand up, Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a question for Mr. Wetzel. When we refi, this is like a refi, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So we're getting a lower interest rate, which is great to have a reduction, of course, in with that regard. Is there any, do we receive any liquidity at the time, or is it just all built in?
What do you mean by
Do
that?
we get any money back?
So, no. We're just refinancing what we have currently outstanding. There's no extra, if that's what your question is.
Yes, it is. That is.
Okay, yeah, no, there's no additional loan amount. It's just refinancing what we currently have.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So it's just good,
Simple
good,
interest rate.
solid, good business to reduce. And thank you for your efforts. So very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Director, what year are we in within this 2030?
So as we stand now, it is set to be paid off in 2033.
2033. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
No further comments, questions, council members? Let's vote by roll call.
Yes,
Councilmember,
sir.
Mr. Brown has his hand raised.
Okay. Mr. Brown?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 or 3 questions about this. The first question, this might have been answered, but the 2 questions are, or 3 questions. First question, is the city borrowing any additional money, any more money? And question number 2, are we extending the term of this? And it appears we are extending it by 2 years from 2033 to 2035. But can someone address those 2 points? Are we borrowing more money, and are we extending the term? And of course, if we're extending the term, even though we have a lower interest rate, we're going to be paying on it for 2 additional years. So I wonder what the net savings will be. That's all I have.
So your first question, no, there's no additional monies being asked for. The second one is yes, we are extending the term, but the net of $800,000 is the net of that with the extension.
Sure. Thank you very much. Appreciated that, Mike.
You're welcome.
Councilman Al Morello would like to speak.
Go ahead.
You ready? Yes.
Al Morella, 3260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 48 years. Last year, I questioned this 2030 plan, this very issue. I got a copy of this plan, of the whole plan. Nothing in the last 6 or 7 years, because that's about how long it's been, maybe longer, since this thing was approved. I don't see any construction. I don't see any improvements according to the plan that I have at my house. Nothing in accordance with that plan has been done in our city over the last 6 or 7 years, however long it's been since this has been approved. And I've even asked if the money's still there. And the answer I got was there's about $50 million from what I heard. So, but I don't see anything done. I don't see any of these improvements that's covered under this plan even starting in our city. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Mayor? Mayor?
Council Chairman, I'd like to, Deborah, Ms. Foshi, is Tom Schreiner with us? Is Deborah on?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
But he is not.
Deborah,
not.
are you familiar, are you or Mr. Wetzel familiar with the projects that are underway? To go over briefly, and maybe by the next council meeting, or if you want to wait, we could wait to the next council meeting and give an overview to the public on the projects that have been done or
Absolutely.
are underway or ready to be underway. Maybe that might be better to do that, because that's not a true statement that Mr. Morello made. There is not $50 million left in it. And let me say this first, this plan was not, you never heard me say anything bad about this plan. You never heard me say anything good about it. This is not a plan that was, conceived by this administration or probably most of this council. Maybe there's 1 or 2 of y'all that were here. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm not saying I'm for it. What I'm saying is that we have inherited this and we're doing some of the projects that need to be done. Before I even came in, I think Councilman Segura / Mayor Segura at the time had a few of the projects going. Mayor Yenny at the time had started a few of the smaller projects. So for anybody to say that the projects have not started is totally not true. For anybody to say that there's $50 million in the account, I don't think the money that was borrowed was even $50 million. I'm pretty sure it was more like in the 30s or the lower 40s. Councilman Segura, you could probably weigh in on a few things because you inherited it from Mayor Yenny. You saw some projects through. I've inherited it from you. I've seen a few projects through, but it's a lengthy process to get some of these projects done. So I'd like to wait. Councilman Segura, if you want to say something, that's fine. But I'd like to wait maybe until we get Tom Schreiner back on, because he is overseeing a lot of those capital projects. Ms. Foshi, unless you want to say it, but I think maybe we should wait a little bit. One that comes to mind right now, whether you like it or not, and I do like this project, is the Duncan Canal. It might be the project from hell right now because it's been put on hold and we all knew it was not going to be finished until 2021. Probably won't be finished till the fall or maybe even later than that of 2021. But whether you like it or not, it's going to be a beautiful project when it's finished. It's going to be a safety project. And I'm pretty sure that's a 2030 project. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wetzel.
You're correct.
I'm pretty sure that is. And it's going to be it's going to be aesthetically pleasing, and it's going to be a safety thing. So anybody to make those comments that a project has not happened in the city of Kent under the 2030 plan is completely false, wrong, and it's a terrible comment because it's not true. There's lots of others that we will have a better plan. Councilman Segura, you might know a few more projects during your year as mayor. Councilman?
Well, yes, and one of them was the Duncan Canal over West Esplanade road project that was in the design phase during my tenure, and then finally went into bidding and now is under construction, which does take a long time. But another project that has some money to be used is the Interstate to West Metairie improvement of Williams Boulevard, where the state, which owns that road, is going to put improvements of a median. But as the 2030 plan will allow, then city funds from that will be used to landscape and dress up the shoulders of the road and things once that project is finished. Well, we got to wait for the state to do their work before we can do ours. So yes, there's money set aside that will sit there to do that job when it's finished.
And also, a project when I was just coming in as mayor and Mike Segura was going out as mayor, and Councilman Epistada at the time, I think was already the parish councilman, maybe it was a few months into it, is the skate park in District 5. Now, I don't think that's a bad project at all. I think that's something that Councilman Epistada had actually promised when he was politicking or campaigning for the District 5 seat back then. It's something that a young man asked him to do, and he did it. And I don't think anybody has any complaints about the skate park. So, like I said, you either like 2030 or you don't like it. I get it, but you have seen some things that have popped up from it. Councilman Hayes, there's a huge project that will be done in your district. I think portion of it was from Vintage to the lake, but the other part will be Vintage to West Esplanade, which will make, not West Esplanade all the way, but up into the parish line, which will make that a bigger walking track and put lighting and landscaping in there. So there's a lot of projects that still have to get going, and we'll get that a better, Ms. Foshi, if you can do that, if you have any comments, that's fine. But if you can do that for the next council meeting with Mr. Shriner, I think that'd be a good overview of my mayor comments.
Absolutely. And if I could at this point, just to give you a brief update, and want to thank Ms. Watkins for forwarding this to me, because this economic development is tracking this, because this has an impact on citywide economic development. But you're aware of that. Anyone who's set in traffic on West Esplanade is aware of the Duncan Canal improvements. That's an active project. The Williams Boulevard corridor, which I believe Councilman Segura just talked about, that has already been put out to bid. The Loyola Drive streetscape project, that was part of the Airport Connector Road, that was part of the development around where the old fire station came down, those funds have been expended. Power Boulevard beautification, construction is not started on that project yet, but we are in constant communication on that one. Airline at Williams, the landscape and beautification at Airlines and Williams is done. The veterans at the airport access obviously is still under analysis. The airliner bike path, I believe, Mayor, you just talked about that. Box culverts at Vintage and Williams are done. And then Williams Boulevard from Veterans to West Napoleon, obviously, is the one that's also been put out to bid. So that's the notes that I just received. There's more information than that. I will ask Mr. Shriner to be prepared to discuss that, as well as amounts associated with those expenditures. Not on this list, because not originally part of the 2030 plan is the skate park. There are a couple other items that were also done. Everyone needs to remember that while we call it the 2030 plan, that's not really what's in the bond. In the bond, it's simply financing the 2013 capital budget. So it is anything capital. And this list is what we've done up to this point, but I will have much more detail from Mr. Shriner once we get back next council.
And we'll break it down for y'all. I'll do some type of a ledger showing where the money is, where the money has gone. Also show you the projects that are done, underway, and to be done in the future. I think that would help, Deborah.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. And like the mayor said, I am one of the few that was here during the initiation of this 2030 plan. And unlike the mayor, I have said some things that have not been favorable about the plan. I did not support it, but I'm going to hold those comments until after the Public Works Director, Ms. Fauché, comprise a list of the new plan, which is no longer called 2030, because hopefully the flavor of it is something that I can, digest better than the first time. But I will let everyone know once I get a chance to look at it. And I look forward to this administration putting a new twist to it, for sure. Thank
Mayor?
you.
Yeah, and Councilman Carroll, I didn't say I was for it or against it. What I said was I inherited it. Mike Segura inherited it. I'm not talking against it. I'm not talking for it. All I'm saying is that when a council passes something and you got 4 votes, I think on this one it was more than 4 votes. I appreciate you weren't for it because I said I wasn't for it or against it. But I've inherited it, so by law we have to get it done. We have the money, so I'm agreeing with you that not everything maybe needed to be done, but it's been done, or it's got to be done because it's what the capital projects are for 2013. So it's kind of like we have it no matter what, Councilman Carroll. We gotta make the best of it, and some of the projects are good. I mean, like I said, the skate park I think is a very good project. I think the Duncan Canal is it's a safety thing and also aesthetically pleasing. So I understand where you're coming from. I appreciate that, and I hope you appreciate where we have to go with it.
All right, I believe we have a motion on the floor to approve. I believe we
Greg
need
wants
to
to
vote.
say something.
And
I
Carol
think
would
Greg
like,
wants to say something.
Councilman Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, if I indicated that you were for or against.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I want to make perfectly clear that I was not for it.
I got it. I remember that. And I didn't want to say that earlier, but I remember you were against it, but I didn't want to say, well, Councilman Carroll didn't vote for it. And that's why I kind of alluded to, there are some of y'all that are left from that council. So we'll make the best of it, right, Councilman Carroll?
Because the reality is, once we vote on something, if you are a favor or not, once it goes through, it goes through. Just
You got
because I'm supporting it, the people that I represent in District 1 are still part of the people that have to pay for it. So that doesn't go away. So we are part of this now, no matter what my position was then. That is why it is good to have a new look at this with this new administration to see, so it can be something that I can say some positive things.
And I think the people are owed a breakdown of whether you're for it or against it, kind of like what you and I are saying, they're owed like what we've done, what's being done, and what has to be done. So I think it's time. I mean, what's that been? 6 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's time to, educate the public on it.
Yeah, and maybe I had too much education because I did see the list, and that's the point.
I get it. I understand.
So we look
Right.
forward to that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilmember McKinney, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just had a follow-up question to actually something that Tom asked earlier to Director Wetzel. When we do refinances, obviously we have to engage bond counsel and incur some expenses. Is that all encompassed in that $800,000 savings as well taken out? Or is that over, are those expenses above and beyond that $800,000?
That is included.
Okay.
That is net of everything.
Okay, perfect. That's what thank you very much.
Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had one quick question from Ms. Foshi. As far as the box culverts that you mentioned at Vintage and Williams, I was under the impression that funding came through the state way back. I don't know if that's correct, or it might be several box culverts and we're getting a little bit from both. I don't know, but I just questioned that.
These were the ones that were installed in like 2017, 2018. It was right after we got here. I think that actually may be under construction when we got here. Many of these projects, 2030 is a portion of the funding. So I would not be surprised if a portion of that funding was also from the state.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. That's all. Just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve. Council members, please vote by roll call.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Hey.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yay.
Councilwoman McKinney. You need to unmute.
Yay.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A, summary ordinance number 12,726, an ordinance ratifying the emergency repair of treatment plant bar screen number 2 by Cooster's Water in the amount of $12,632 for the Department of Wastewater.
I think that should be 20,632.
20,632. Is that not what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilmember McKinney to approve. Council members, let's vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Sewell,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,727, an ordinance approving an agreement for Geographic Information Systems, GIS services with Elos Environmental LLC in an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually.
A motion by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilman Brannigan to approve. Council members, let's vote.
Question?
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to refresh everybody's memory, if we could have somebody refresh our memories, I should say. GIS services, this 200,000, it's annual. Ms. Foshee, if you can elaborate, thank you.
And basically, I think what I would like to do really is introduce others, because this is a citywide contract used by multiple departments. So this is not this is not just IT. This is not just emergency management. This is not just code. This is not just planning. This is not just community development. I think Adam Campo may have the most comprehensive collection, having collected data from the many different departments. So I think he can tell us just sort of overall which departments are doing what, but also the directors for each of those departments, I believe, are either on or can get on if anyone has any specific questions about a specific department's use of this contract.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Foshee.
So I'm happy to give the overview. I'll go pretty quick on it, and then if the individual departments want to elaborate, or if y'all need elaboration, they can. From the IT department in perspective, we use the contract, the creation and the management of the ArcGIS program, which is basically a software that makes GIS possible. All the maps and everything come from that. Emergency management uses GIS for repetitive loss letter maps, census data, FEMA closeout, sewage maps, 911 maps, and flood elevation mapping. Code enforcement uses GIS for city cuts tracking, violation and code survey and mapping, inspection surveys and mapping. Community development used it for the rehabilitation grant, census data, subdivision layer mapping, application surveys, residential build date assessments. Public Works uses it for drainage mapping, sewage mapping, and we actually used it in risk for city-owned property mapping as well.
I presume I still have the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Adam, so all these different software programs annually, I guess, many of them have to be updated. Is that correct?
Well, this is actually one software program and service that's provided. It's a service that's provided using the software program. Through IT, the only service that we need for GIS is just the upkeep of the city's access to this software so we can get the various different mappings and information that we need from GIS. But that includes the maintenance to this, to answer your question, yes.
Okay, so it includes maintenance, but that, I guess that software has to be updated periodically. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so that accounts, and that covers since I guess it covers so many departments, and I guess that's the way it's laid out, that we incur up to 200,000 annually. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a large tab, and that's why I question it. And we believe that these services are necessary in order to keep our IT and these various departments up and functioning at the proper level.
Councilman Wilmot, it's not just IT. I think perhaps what Mr. Campo was saying is this is a service being performed for us. So the GIS service uses technology, but that technology, that software we're talking about, is implemented in a number of different ways. So it's a mapping software, and it helps you pull data out. So depending upon which department needs which type of data is required, then the ELOS company will go and actually build the maps and import the information into the maps. They're called layers. So they build them into the layers so that you can pull up information. Historically, we used it largely just with utilities. We had a fairly, I think, outdated version of maybe drainage or sewer or something. But now every department, once they realize that we have access to this technology and we have access to these particular service providers, they have come in and they have said, we have this, we can help you do your job better, faster, and get more information out to the public by using our service. And so a lot of what they've done is help us build from scratch. So while we look at $200,000, what we're looking at is 6 or 7 departments. Some use it more, some use it less. While we were doing the CRS flood community rating system, FEMA flood mapping, probably a huge chunk was used for that, but it also resulted in our rating going down and saving, saving insurance costs for everyone in the city of Kenner who has flood insurance starting October 1. So there is return on this investment. It's not purely an expense, but it's not purely IT. This is service. These are people who are actually working and helping us build the maps using this particular technology.
So it's a lot of data that's being used through all the various departments.
Absolutely.
And this has to, I guess, like I say, it's got to be upgraded periodically, and you have the service that also does that for us. So it's okay. I got it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Councilman Brennan.
Thank you, Council Chair. Ms. Foshi, since I had a little sneak preview of the QSEN technology.
Oh, you did, that's right.
Well, is this part of what that was, or is that associated with Google Maps or something like that?
Okay, so that's a very, very interesting question, Councilman Brennan, because having met with ELOS, they have the ability to, I'm not sure how, and Adam is probably better to talk about this, but it's almost like creating additional capacity for us. We are using QSend as the base product, but there's more robust mapping that we can use if we link those two products together. So QSend needs to be up and running first, and that's using just the basic GIS maps. But once we have been working with this product a little bit longer and we know that the base product works, then ELOS will be able to build us more robust information. There may be something that you and your district are more concerned about, and a different district might be concerned about something else, and a customized map will be built for you so that every time data that triggers whatever you're looking for goes into the system, it pops out for you to be able to see it. So it's a lot of programming, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
And if that were to be the case, and maybe this is too early to ask, would that be something that's included with this contract, or would that be?
Absolutely.
So, is it okay to expound on that for just a second then? So just for everyone to be aware or be advised, we've been kind of trial running QSend for the department, and Mike Laws gave us a great presentation and has been very, very helpful as always. And basically when an issue is reported, by putting in the address, it immediately attaches the location in that work order so that anyone that looks at it knows exactly where that street or that location is, the workers or whoever needs to see it. So anyway, I think it's pretty great. They don't have to go and try to find that on a separate app or means if that's going to be tied in. So I think this is very good. Thank you, Ms. Foshi. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Mr. Campo, did ELOS provide the base mapping for QSend?
Yes, they did. That's correct.
All right. Do we have any other questions, comments, concerns? We have a motion on the floor to approve. Council members, let's vote by roll call.
Yes, sir. Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan. You're muted.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,728, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Osborne Associates Incorporated to supply aluminum, steel, and sign blanks as needed in accordance with seal bid number 20-6562 and an amount not to exceed $40,000 for the Department of General Services.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilman Carroll to approve. Any questions? Anybody with their hands up?
I see no hands, Councilman.
Council members, let's vote by roll call.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,729, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Gill's Carpet Sales Incorporated to furnish and install carpet tile as needed in accordance with seal bid number 20-6563 in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilman Wilmot, seconded by Councilman Carroll to approve. Any hands up? Seeing none? Council people, let's vote.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance levying the adjusted street millage rate to be extended on the assessor's tax rolls for all accessible property within the corporate limits of the city of Kenner, Jefferson Parish, state of Louisiana, based on the 2020 assessment rolls. I've been asked to read this notice into the record. Notice is hereby given pursuant to Article 7, Section 23C of the Louisiana Constitution and RS 47:1705B, that a public hearing of the City of Kenner Council in Jefferson Parish will be held virtually on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. to consider levying additional or increased millage rates without further voter approval or adopting the adjusted millage rates after reassessment and rolling forward to rates not to exceed the prior year's maximum. The estimated amount of tax revenues to be collected in the year from the increase is $3,092,808.93. And the amount of increase in taxes attributable to the millage increase is $153,341.95. Pursuant to Executive Proclamations JBE 2020-30 and 2020-33 and LARS 42:17.1 or future executive orders or declarations of emergency, this shall serve as certification that in light of the spread of COVID-19, the city of Kenner was unable to operate due to quorum requirements in accordance with LARS 42.19 and will be meeting via video conference on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020 at 5:30. The virtual meeting will be viewable on Zoom video conferencing as well as YouTube at www.youtube.kenner.com/Kenner TV online, and the City of Kenner Facebook page at www.facebook.com/official City of Kenner government. The Kenner City Council meeting will be conducted via video conference. Public comments will be accepted prior to the meeting by phone at 504-468-7254 and by email to nhall@kenner.la.us. The council clerk shall read the emails into the record relating to items posted to the agenda or other subject matters. Please submit email questions by Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020 at 3:30 p.m. Public comments will also be accepted in real time during the appropriate time of the council meeting by joining the video conferencing and using the hand raise function in the app. Directions available at www.kenner.la.us and www.facebook.com/official City of Kenner government. Information on joining the teleconference will be provided 24 hours in advance at www.kenner.la.us and www.facebook.com/official City of Kenner government. Item 16B is summary ordinance number 12,000. I'm sorry, I apologize. Item 16B, an ordinance levying the increased street millage rate to be extended on the assessor's tax rolls for all taxable property within the corporate limits of the City of Kenner, Jefferson Parish, State of Louisiana, based on 2020 assessment rolls. Item 16C is an ordinance revoking the dedication of the 15-foot alley in Square 509 Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, bounded by unimproved 19th Street, formerly West Metairie Avenue, on the south 20th Street, on the north, Colorado Avenue on the west, and Connecticut Avenue on the east, which said property is owned by the City of Kenner, case P-7-20. Item 16D is an ordinance approving the sale of a 21,961-foot portion of Minden Avenue right-of-way between squares 4 and 5, Hanson Place Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which said property is owned by the City of Kenner, case P-8-20. Item 16CE is an ordinance approving the lease of 18,023 square feet of an unimproved portion of Oxley Street between Square 93 and 94, Kenner Orchard Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which said property is owned by the City of Kenner, case P-9-20. Item 16F is an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062 adopted by the City of Kenner, Louisiana on March 17, 2016, entitled Unified Development Code of the City of Kenner, Louisiana, more particularly amending and rezoning lots X and Y, Square 377, Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner, Louisiana, from C1 neighborhood commercial to RR1 single family residential, case Z-2-20. Item 16G is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots 1 through 31 and the revoked 15-foot alley, all in Square 509 Highway Park Subdivision, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, into lots 1A and 15A, which lots are owned by RDRSSES Investments, LLC, and amending ordinance number 11,062 adopted by the City of Kenner, Louisiana on March 17, 2016, and entitled Unified Development Code of the City of Kenner, Louisiana, more particularly amending the official zoning map of the City of Kenner and rezoning lots 1A and 15A, Square 509, Veteran Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, from RR1 Single Family Residential to SI Special Industrial, case Z-3-20. Item 16H is an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062 adopted by the City of Kenner on March 17, 2016, entitled Unified Development Code of the City of Kenner, Louisiana, more particularly amending and rezoning lots 15 through 20 and lots 93 through 98, square 178, Veteran Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Louisiana, from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial, case Z-4-20. Item 16I is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from H&O Investments LLC to provide grass cutting in accordance with seal bid number 20-6552 in an amount not to exceed $525,000 annually. Item 16J is an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 2, Section 15 through 18 of the Kenner City Code of Ordinances. Item 16K is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid from Black Star Diversified Enterprises to supply sign posts, brackets, and miscellaneous sign supplies as needed in accordance with seal bid number 20-6561 in an amount not to exceed $40,000 for the Department of General Services. Item 16L is an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 3, Inspection of Motor Vehicles. Item 16M is an ordinance, I apologize, a resolution amending Rule 11 and 12 of the Rules of Organization, Business Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner. Item 17 is reports from the council and or special committees.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple of things. First is, Madam Clerk, would it be possible for you to email me, and I guess all of us, a copy of that attachment for the meeting on September the 3rd, the joint meeting?
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
And the second thing is, I like to just, personally thank everybody, all of the citizens of Kenner and the surrounding areas supported the city of Kenner with all of our businesses, particularly the small businesses, because, this is a lifeline to the city and you guys have been fantastic. With that, I would like to say one of our smaller business men in business is Jendusas, which is located in Rivertown. He is open. The family is open again in the new restaurant on the corner of 4th Street in Williams. And based on the opening, it's going well. And we appreciate that. I would like to say, even though, Troy is open and running, the very first event that was there, I'd like to thank him because he gave an appreciation to the firefighters, the men and women of the city of Kenner. So before he made a dime, he gave out again to the men and women that protect the city of Kenner. So thank you, Troy. Thank everyone that has supported the Jendusas, and we look forward, not only Jendusas, but in the Rivertown area, but the porch and patio, bringing into this challenging times that we're having. Thank everybody for their support. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam.
Anybody else? Madam Clerk.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and our motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Campo, do we have anybody?
We do. Al Morella would like to speak.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 48 years. I want to express my appreciation to the Public Works Department for the temporary fix, on the two massive potholes, or the one massive pothole and another pothole just starting, right here on East Loyola and Sunset. We still have to get this gas line inspected, running parallel to the bridge. Now, based on the comments, let's talk about this 2030 plan. Based on the comments by the mayor and Ms. Foshee, we haven't even, I'll rephrase what I said earlier, we haven't even scratched the surface yet of the projects that's covered under this plan. And it's been 7 years now, and it seems like we got the debt, but we haven't scratched the surface on the projects that's covered under that plan. Now, I got a copy of the plan at the house. Duncan Canal is one of the projects. The culverts was one of the projects. The skate park wasn't. Okay? There's a multitude of more projects that hasn't even begun yet. So I'll rephrase it and leave it at that. Now I want to direct this to the mayor. I want to talk about an article, front page article, in the Advocate on August the 1st, in connection with this COVID-19. Now I want to know from the mayor, what mechanisms do we have in place to verify these figures that we get out of Baton Rouge from the Department of Health? The article is about data and lists that we have for our first responders that's being misused by certain local governments, okay? A few local governments. And also, to make matters worse, that people's health information is being shared with other elected officials, which is a clear violation of federal HIPAA laws, okay? Now, numbers are being skewed. We got cases that's being, positive cases that's being put down, that's skewed. So I want to know, what mechanism does the mayor have in place to verify any of this data that we are getting? And I know the mayor still hasn't told us. 14,000 plus cases in Jefferson Parish. Yesterday, 139,000 tests completed. We got roughly 125,000 negative cases. But the mayor still hasn't
Mr.
told us.
Morelli, your time has expired. Mayor?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is, so maybe Mr. Morella can go over that another time, but I'll have to check with the legal department and also EOC to see what we can share with the numbers that we get. I think one of his questions were, how are we verifying it? I mean, we work with other local entities. We work with the state. Our EOC works closely with them. If anyone is asking us to question the governor and question the state and question the CDC and a lot of health professionals, yeah, I guess I'm guilty. I'm not doing that. I'm not, I mean, I look around and I see people getting COVID, so obviously it exists. Hell, a few people, or one or two people in here have had exposure to it, may have had it, and some of our people have had it. So we know it's true. We know it's real. I'm not quite sure what Mr. Morella is asking me to do. Maybe he can take it up next time. I know his time is over. But yeah, we believe that it exists. I'm guilty of that. Absolutely. We're still on Zoom because we believe it exists. The city of New Orleans, I checked with Mayor Cantrell today just to give an idea that, just to get an idea of what they're doing. They're still on Zoom. So Mayor Cantrell believes it exists. Our parish president obviously believes it exists. As she today asked the Jefferson Parish school system to delay school until after Labor Day. So am I guilty of listening to the statistics and believing it? Yes, I am. Prosecute me, please. I'm going to keep our people safe. I appreciate this council agreeing to do things this way to keep it safe, and we will continue to do that. I do know that we have shared a little data on our website. I'm not so sure everything that we put there because we are restricted, because Mr. Morella kind of asked two things there. He wants information, but then he's concerned that too much is being shared, is what I kind of picked up from him. I couldn't hear all the way because of restrictions and HIPAA laws that you can't do. So what we share on our website is what we can share. I believe that's all we will share. Legal keeps me in line with this. I know he keeps y'all in line, that we won't want to reveal our employees' health situations. But as we continue to go through this, I think each and every one of us know this thing is real.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Campo, anybody else?
Yes, Councilman, Mr. Brown has his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Campo. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of questions. One is about item 16D on the agenda for first reading regarding the sale of what, 22,000 square feet of land off Minden Avenue. I'm just wondering, first, exactly where that is and what is the purpose of that sale? Well, what's the land going to be used for? And the other question, noticed that according to the notice that the clerk read, the September 3rd council meeting will also apparently be on Zoom, and that'll include the public hearing on the tax millage. But, you know, we may be moving into the next phase 3 or 4, whichever it is by then. But even under the current phase that we're in, the governor allows, I think, 50 people to meet at a time, and the council chamber is a pretty big place. I just wonder what the chances are. You know, I'm wondering when the council may go back to in-person meetings. So I have a two-part question. When might we go back to in-person meetings? And then also on 16D, the sale of that parcel of land on Minden Avenue, just where is that and what's it to be used for? That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I see no other hands up, Councilman.
Can somebody answer the question?
Mr. Chairman?
Wendell? Mr. Dufour, do you have your hand up?
Well, real quick, in terms of what Mr. Brown asked, the property is between Reverend Richard Wilson, dropped in the levee between squares 4 and 5. The applicant owns all of the property in square 5 and about 90% of the property in square 4, and all the property that fronts Minden Avenue along that stretch. So they are requesting to purchase it because they would like to close it down to prevent motorists from driving down Minden Avenue. They move a lot of equipment between their warehouses, a lot of heavy equipment. So that's the purpose and that's the location.
Thank you, Mr. Dufour. Mr. Carroll, Councilman Carroll.
President, and Mr. Brown, just to add to that, the director and I have been monitoring this for a couple of months as it relates to the new purchase. There are no residents that live on this particular street. We have been assured and made sure that we are on top of it as it relates to utilities that we, the city of Kenner, will always have access to ensure that the people who live around that street are not in any harm's way. So we are selling it, but we are not walking away from it totally. So we will have a dog in the fight, as they say. I'm just going to mention about, as far as you asked about the council meeting, I like you look forward to the day that we can move back into the council chambers. I think we are still in phase 2, not phase 3. I think once that happens, the governor has said we are still going to be here for another 3 weeks. So based on that time frame and based on moving into 3, I think that will, I believe, this is going to be the mayor's call, but I believe once we get there, we should have the opportunity to go back into the council chambers. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mayor?
And Councilman Carroll, thank you for that, because that would pretty much sum it up. I think probably in the next 2 weeks, while we're in these 3 weeks of his extension, I'll probably do an informal meeting with the council, not talk about legislation, talk about where we're going to be for a council meeting sometime in the near future with everything going good. And I think you will agree, because I know you and I have had one-on-one discussions with this, or group discussions. You know, hopefully we don't see a spike with school starting, and what I guess what the parish council or parish president is asking today, that'll be up to the school board. Obviously, that might help delay that a little bit if the school board agrees to that. It would put us sometime possibly in September. If they don't agree that, we see a spike, then that could set us back. So I know you and I have had discussions on that, like I said, and yes, it would probably be at a different location though, and that's something that we need to talk about the future of the council meeting. So I'll be getting over the next couple of weeks, give me a couple of weeks, we'll be reaching out to each and every council member.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions? Councilman Wilmot, did you have your hand up? No. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you,
Hearing
Mr.
none, do
Chairman.
I hear-
I just want to let you all waive, so I have no questions. Thank you.
Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.